I do want to see negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. They've come together over grain supplies.
The foresight to pick the air.
Last time we decided of co-production, drones interceptors. This is one of them.
Former Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn has reignited Britain's foreign policy debate, warning that Prime Minister Keir Starmer's proposed coalition of the willing on Ukraine risks triggering a catastrophic confrontation between nuclear powers. Speaking from London, Corbyn urged diplomacy over escalation, calling for renewed talks between Russia and Ukraine. Corbyn argued that NATO-led operations in support of Kyiv would only fuel further militarization, claiming such actions could provoke Russia into intensifying its offensive and expanding alliances with countries like India and China.
I do want to see negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. They've come together over grain supplies. They've come together over other issues. They can do so again. But I do not believe that the idea of a coalition of the willing taking part in NATO operations in support of Ukraine is actually the way forward at all. All it will do is encourage Russia to up the ante on its side and bring in even more troops and more forces and drag in weapons from India and China, as NATO will drag in weapons from all over the West. We're setting up for a major and very, very dangerous confrontation with nuclear weapons on both sides.
The former opposition leader likened the coalition of the willing to a Cold War-style standoff, warning that the West's pursuit of a military solution risks spiraling into a wider, uncontrollable conflict that could endanger the entire region. His comments came shortly after Prime Minister Keir Starmer addressed a coalition summit outlining new measures to escalate pressure on Moscow, including removing Russian oil and gas from global markets, unlocking billions in frozen assets to fund Ukraine's defense, and accelerating Britain's delivery of more than 5,000 lightweight missiles and enhanced air defense support for Kyiv ahead of the winter months.
There are three things. First, I think we should agree today to act to take Russian oil and gas off the global market. Second, I think we need to agree to finish the job on Russia's sovereign assets and unlock billions to help finance Ukraine's defence. Third, we need to strengthen Ukraine's air defence and the energy support that it needs, and this is becoming urgent, to protect its civilians and rebuild its critical infrastructure. So I'm pleased that we're accelerating our UK programme to provide Ukraine with more than 5,000 lightweight missiles. This means we can deliver an additional 140 missiles ahead of schedule to boost Ukraine's defences through the depths of winter.
Turning his criticism toward former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Corbyn accused him of undermining early peace efforts between Russia and Ukraine in 2022, claiming Johnson had discouraged Kyiv from signing a potential ceasefire agreement and instead pushed for continued fighting. Johnson, who led the UK at the onset of the war before resigning later that year amid a series of scandals, has denied interfering in Ukraine's negotiations. However, the claim mirrors reports from Ukrainian negotiator David Arakhamia, who said Johnson advised Ukraine to reject Russia's proposals.
The future of a war in Europe is appalling, and so let's work on that. And the British role in this has not been a good one. In April 23, when there was a real possibility of a ceasefire. Boris Johnson intervened to make sure there wasn't one. And Boris Johnson's involvement was wholly to encourage Ukraine not to come to an agreement with Russia at that stage, but to continue the war, and he promised an unlimited supply of British weapons.
Corbyn said Britain's overall handling of the war had been deeply flawed, arguing that successive governments, both Conservative and Labour, have placed military alliances above peace efforts.